Shalom uvracha. Chanukkah and Sukkos have a close connection one with the other. They're both 8 days. We say a full Hallel for 8 days during Chanukkah and during Sukkos. And moreover, we find in the Gemara that Beis Shammai, when they give their opinion that the candles, the number of lights that we kindle every day of Chanukkah, has to diminish. We start with 8 and we go down. Beis Shammai learned this out from Sukkos, from Parei HaChag. Just like the korbanos that we bring on Sukkos diminish day by day, decrease, so too the candles of Chanukkah. Even in the Torah, in Parshas Emor, we find that after the Torah finishes speaking about the festivals, and we end with Chanukkah, we move on immediately to the kindling of the menorah that the Chanukkah lights resemble and recall. What's the connection between Chanukkah on the one hand, a rabbinic festival, and between Sukkos on the other, one of the 3 regalim, a Torah festival? But the connection is in 2 very fundamental ways. On the one hand, the festival of Chanukkah, the festival of Sukkos, on a Torah level, brings Kedusha into the world. Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, we encounter HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We meet Him in a state of transcendence, in the shuls, in the Beis Medrash, in a way that's aloof from the world. On Sukkos, we bring that Kedusha to be with us. We bring it into the Sukkah, into our everyday life. We live for 8 days with the Shekhinah, with the Kadosh Baruch Hu in the Sukkah. It enters our own domain, enters our lives. The same thing with Sukkos, the same thing with Chanukkah, but on a different level. If on Sukkos, we're in the middle of the summer, we don't need to light our own candles, our own lights. We have the light of the sun. We have the light of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It's a Torah festival. On Chanukkah, we have to replicate the same idea while we're in the dark. And when we're in the dark, in the night, in the winter, we have to kindle our own lights. HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives us an opportunity that even when we're in the dark, in a state of galus, in a state of exile, darkness, a lack of revelation, there's no prophecy, we don't have the wonder of the Torah festival, of the regalim, going to Yerushalayim, going to the Beis HaMikdash. Nonetheless, we can light our own lights. And those lights are kadosh. Haneres halalu kodesh. We're not allowed to use them for any other mundane purpose, only to see them, only to recall the miracle of Chanukkah. And that's again the same as what we have on Sukkot. Like the Gemara explains, that the Atzei Sukkah, the wood of the Sukkah itself, even the decorations of Sukkah, have their own Kedusha. The same thing with the candles of Chanukkah. So that's on the one hand. On the other hand, there's another element that brings together Sukkot and Chanukkah, and that's their universal nature. Sukkot is the only festival that has a universal element in it. We bring korbanos on behalf of the nations of the world, the 70 korbanos of Sukkot that parallel correspond to the 70 nations of the world. And likewise on Chanukkah, we light our candles by the doorstep, next to our homes, ner ish ubeso. It's the Jewish homes that have to bring that light. But where do they direct their light towards? Where do they shine? They shine outwards, into the public domain, into the domain that belongs to everybody, to Jews and to non-Jews alike. And look at what we have today. Today, Chanukkah has really become a universal festival. Everybody celebrates the festival of Chanukkah. Again, similar to Sukkot. Just like Sukkot is a time that brings even the nations of the world into our framework of Kedusha, so too Chanukkah. We include the nations, everybody, within the concept of the Chanukkah light, in which we're able to draw Kedusha into the world in a time of darkness, in a time which is inherently devoid of HaKadosh Baruch Hu's presence, of the divine presence among us. Nonetheless, we're able to light our own candles and bring Kedusha into the world. That's why the Rambam says that mitzvahs ner Chanukah, the mitzvah of the Chanukah lights, is chaviva hi ad ma'od, has a special favor, has a special love It's especially beloved more than any other mitzvah because it's ours. It's our own kedusha that we bring into the world with our kindling, and it's our festival. It's a festival of our making. HaKadosh Baruch Hu didn't give us this festival in the Torah. It's a rabbinic festival of our making, and therefore it has this special belovedness, this special chen, a special charm. As we know, Chanukkah has its special charm. And as we go into the days of Chanukkah, this message should reverberate, should be among us, that our calling, our duty is to kindle those lights on Chanukkah and during the entire year, to light up the darkness with the kedusha, with the holiness that we, as a Jewish people, our special mission is to bring that word of God, that word of holiness into the world, and to project it not just within us, but within the entire world, as Chanukkah teaches us, in the public sphere, the sphere that's a common sphere to us and to the nations alike. We should all have a wonderful Chanukkah festival, and we should internalize this message that should reverberate, that should echo during the time of Chanukkah and for the entire year.